Your life begins to transform the moment you choose to think differently. And this, right here, could be that moment. This is Mindshift with Geetanjali, the space where you shift your mindset, rise above limitations, and reframe your reality. I'm Geetanjali, mindset coach, author, and your companion on this journey to rediscover the power that's already within you. Let's begin. Thank you so much for being here with me today and for continuing to follow me on this journey. Every message, every share, every time you listen while driving, walking, cooking, healing, reflecting, or simply trying to make sense of your life truly means more than you know. This season, we are going deeper, not just mindset, but into the hidden emotional patterns that quietly shape our relationships, reactions, fears, identity, and even the way we see ourselves. And today's conversation is one that may feel deeply personal. Because sometimes the hardest relationships in our lives are not only about the other person, sometimes they are reflections of old wounds that were never fully healed. Let's look at the 4 P's: problem, promise, proof, and plan. Problem. Have you ever found yourself overreacting to something small, feeling abandoned very quickly, needing reassurance constantly, pushing people away when they get too close, or repeating the same painful relationship patterns again and again? Maybe you tell yourself, why do I keep attracting emotionally unavailable people? Why do I get so triggered so easily? Why do I feel unseen even when someone loves me? Why do I keep choosing relationships that hurt me? And the truth is, many of our adult relationship patterns are not created in adulthood. They are often rooted in emotional experiences, conditioning, attachment wounds, and survival patterns formed years earlier. Sometimes as children, sometimes after betrayal, sometimes after years of feeling dismissed, criticized, unsafe, or emotionally unseen. And without realizing it, we begin relating to people from our wounds instead of our wholeness. Promise. But here is the powerful part. Once you become aware of these patterns, you can begin changing them. You can stop repeating emotional cycles that no longer serve you. You can build safer relationships. You can respond instead of react. You can learn to feel secure without abandoning yourself. And most importantly, you can begin healing the relationship you have with yourself. Proof. Neuroscience and psychology now show us that our brains are shaped by repeated emotional experiences. The nervous system remembers what felt safe, what felt threatening, what felt unpredictable. If love once felt inconsistent, your brain may now associate love with anxiety. If emotional expression once led to criticism, you may now suppress your feelings to avoid rejection. If you grew up walking on emotional eggshells, your nervous system may stay hyper alert in relationships even when danger is no longer present. This is not a weakness, this is patterning. Your brain learned survival before it learned peace. But the beautiful truth about neuroplasticity is this: what the brain learns, the brain can also relearn. Plan. So, what can we actually do about this? Healing relationship patterns does not begin by trying to control other people. It begins by becoming aware of the emotional programming operating beneath our reactions. And today, I want you to focus on three simple shifts. First, begin noticing your emotional triggers without immediately judging yourself for them. Your triggers are not random, they are information. They are often pointing toward an unmet emotional need, an old fear, or a past wound asking to be acknowledged. Second, practice creating safety within your own nervous system before seeking reassurance from others. Pause, breathe, ground yourself, allow your body to feel calm before reacting impulsively. Because when the nervous system feels safe, the mind becomes clearer. And third, begin asking yourself a powerful question in your relationships. Am I responding to who is in front of me right now, or am I reacting to pain from my past? That one question alone can create enormous self awareness. Because healing relationships is not only about finding healthier people, it is also about becoming conscious of the unconscious patterns we bring into connection. And the more awareness we build, the more we begin relating from clarity instead of fear, from wholeness instead of wounds, and from self respect instead of survival. And this connects deeply to our previous episode. What if you're not behind in life at all? Because when we feel behind emotionally, behind in love, behind in healing, we often judge ourselves harshly. Healing is not linear. Awareness is not weakness. And recognizing your patterns is not failure. It is the beginning of transformation. Let's go a little bit deeper this time into the neuroscience section, into what is actually happening inside the brain and nervous system when relationships trigger us emotionally. Because many people think, why am I reacting like this? Why can't I just let things go? Why does this affect me so deeply? But your reactions are not only emotional, they are neurological. Your brain is constantly trying to predict safety. One of the key parts involved in this process is the amygdala, the brain's threat detection center. The amygdala does not only respond to physical danger, it also responds to emotional danger. Rejection, criticism, abandonment, disconnection, unpredictability. And the important thing to understand is this: the brain does not always distinguish between a present threat and a familiar emotional memory. So if you experience emotional inconsistency, neglect, criticism, or instability early in life, your nervous system may become highly sensitive to similar emotional cues later on. A delayed reply, someone pulling away emotionally, a change in tone, conflict, feeling ignored, feeling misunderstood. To the logical mind, these moments may seem small, but to a nervous system carrying unresolved emotional wounds, they can activate a survival response. This is why relationships can sometimes trigger anxiety, people-pleasing, emotional shutdown, overthinking, defensiveness, or intense fear of abandonment. because the brain is not only responding to the present moment, it is responding to what the present moment reminds the nervous system of. And this involves something called neural pathways. Neural pathways are repeated patterns of thought, emotion, and behavior that become stronger the more often they are used. So, if someone spends years feeling unsafe, rejected, or emotionally unseen, the brain becomes highly efficient at anticipating those experiences again. The brain begins creating protective patterns like hypervigilance, emotional withdrawal, over explaining, self abandonment, perfectionism, or constantly seeking reassurance. Not because the person is weak, but because the nervous system learned these behaviors as forms of protection. At the same time, another part of the brain called the prefrontal cortex helps with emotional regulation, self-awareness, and conscious decision making. When we practice mindfulness, reflection, nervous system regulation, and emotional awareness, we strengthen this part of the brain. And over time, this changes the relationship between the emotional brain and the thinking brain. This is one reason healing is possible. The brain is capable of neuroplasticity, meaning it can form new neural pathways and new emotional associations throughout life. What was once automatic can become conscious. What once triggered fear can eventually feel safe. What once created survival patterns can slowly transform into emotional security. And this is so important to understand. Healing does not mean you never get triggered again. Healing means your nervous system no longer controls your entire response. You begin creating space between the trigger and the reaction. And in that space, new patterns can finally begin to form. Let me give you an example. Imagine someone named Layla. Layla keeps finding herself attracted to emotionally distant partners. At first, everything feels exciting, but over time, she begins feeling anxious, insecure, and emotionally exhausted. She constantly wonders, do they really care about me? Why do I feel so afraid they will leave? And eventually, she either becomes overly attached or emotionally shuts down completely. Now, on the surface, it's like a relationship problem, but underneath it, Layla grew up feeling emotionally unseen. Love felt inconsistent. Validation felt conditional. She learned that she had to work for connection. So, without realizing it, her nervous system began chasing familiar emotional dynamics. Not because they were healthy, not because they were familiar. And this happens to so many people. We often repeat what feels emotionally familiar until we become conscious enough to choose differently. So, today I want to give you a deeper practice called the Relationship Reflection Reset. This is a nervous system awareness tool designed to help you pause emotional reactions before they become emotional patterns. Because most relationship reactions happen automatically. Something happens, your nervous system gets activated. Your mind creates a story, and within seconds, you are reacting from fear, protection, insecurity, or past pain. But healing begins when we interrupt the automatic cycle. So the next time you feel emotionally triggered in a relationship, I want you to walk through these 5 steps slowly, compassionately. Step 1, pause pattern. Before texting impulsively, before shutting down, before over explaining, before assuming the worst, pause. Take one slow, deep breath in and a slower breath out. This immediately signals the nervous system that you are safe enough to slow down. Even a 10-second pause can reduce emotional reactivity and help move the brain out of survival mode. Step 2, name what you are feeling. Ask yourself, what am I actually feeling right now? Not the story, not the blame, the feeling. Is it rejection, fear, abandonment, disappointment, shame, loneliness, not feeling chosen, not feeling important? Research shows that naming emotions helps calm activity in the amygdala and strengthens emotional regulation in the brain. Sometimes we cannot heal what we have never learned to identify. Step 3, separate the present from the past. Now ask yourself, is this reaction only about this moment? Or does this feeling feel familiar? This is one of the most powerful questions you can ask yourself. Is this reaction only about this moment, or does this feeling feel familiar? Because often the intensity of our emotional reaction is connected to something older. Maybe this moment reminds your nervous system of being ignored, being criticized, being abandoned, not feeling heard, or needing to earn love and approval. Awareness helps you recognize, I may be reacting to an old wound, not only the current situation. Step 4, regulate before you respond. This part is critical. Do not try to solve the relationship while your nervous system is dysregulated. Instead, walk, breathe, journal, ground yourself, listen to calming music, place your hand on your heart, or simply sit quietly for a few minutes. Because a regulated nervous system responds differently than a triggered nervous system. When the body feels safer, the mind becomes clearer. Step 5, respond from your present self. Once you feel calmer, ask yourself, how would the healed, grounded version of me respond here? Not the fearful version, not the wounded inner child, not the version trying to protect itself through control, withdrawal, or people pleasing, but the emotionally aware version of you. Maybe the response is setting a boundary, having an honest conversation, asking for reassurance calmly, giving space, or recognizing that not every emotional discomfort is danger. This is how new relationship patterns begin. Not through perfection, but through repeated moments of conscious awareness. And the beautiful thing is this: every time you pause instead of react, every time you choose awareness instead of autopilot, you are literally helping your brain build new emotional pathways. That is how healing happens. Not all at once, but one conscious moment at a time. I want to guide you through a short visualization designed to help calm the nervous system and create emotional safety within the body. Now, you may hear the words meditation and visualization used together sometimes, but they are slightly different practices. Meditation is usually about becoming present. It helps calm mental noise, regulate the nervous system, and bring awareness to the present moment through breath, stillness, or focus. Visualization, on the other hand, uses intentional mental imagery to help the brain and body experience new emotional states. And this is important because the brain often responds to imagined emotional experiences in ways that are surprisingly similar to real ones. So when we visualize safety, calm, healing, or self worth consistently, we begin helping the nervous system create new emotional associations instead of automatically repeating old fear patterns. In many ways, visualization becomes a form of emotional rehearsal for healing. So, this next exercise is a guided visualization with gentle meditative breathing to help your mind and body feel grounded, safe, and supported. Now, gently close your eyes if that feels comfortable to you. Take a slow, deep breath in and exhale slowly. Again, breathe in deeply and let the breath go softly. Allow your body to begin settling. Relax your shoulders, relax your jaw, relax the muscles around your eyes. And for the next few moments, allow yourself to simply be here. No fixing, no proving, no performing, just breathing. Now imagine yourself walking down a quiet path at sunset. The air feels calm. Warm light surrounds you. And with every step, your nervous system begins to soften. Ahead of you is a beautiful small lake. The water is still, peaceful, safe. And as you walk closer to the water, you notice something. You are not alone. Sitting quietly near the edge of the lake is a younger version of you, perhaps much younger. The version of you that first learned what rejection felt like, what emotional distance felt like, what criticism felt like, what it felt like to not fully feel safe, chosen, or understood. And for a moment, just observe them gently. Notice the expression on their face. Notice how much they may have been carrying silently for so many years. Now slowly walk toward them. Sit beside them. Not to fix them, not to judge them, not to rush them, just to be present with them. And imagine placing a comforting hand on their shoulder. Let them finally feel safe enough to exhale. And now softly say to them, you never had to earn love. You were always worthy. You did not deserve to carry so much pain alone. I see you now. I understand you now. I am here for you now. And as those words settle in, imagine a warm, golden light surrounding both of you. A calm, healing light. And with every breath, that light begins dissolving old fear from the body. Fear of abandonment, fear of rejection, fear of not being enough. Allow the nervous system to feel something different. Not pressure, not anxiety, not emotional survival, but safety, peace, connection. And now imagine your younger self slowly standing up, looking at you with relief. No longer alone, no longer unseen. And as they gently walk toward you, they begin merging into your heart, not separated from you anymore, integrated, accepted, loved. Take another slow, deep breath in. And as you exhale, repeat quietly within yourself, I no longer have to live from old wounds. I can create new emotional patterns. I can choose relationships that feel safe, honest, and healthy. I am learning to trust myself again. I am worthy of love that feels peaceful. And just stay here for one final moment, breathing in calm, breathing out old emotional tension, allowing your mind and body to remember that healing is possible. So as you move through this week, pay attention to your emotional reactions with compassion instead of judgment. Notice what triggers you. Notice what makes you feel unsafe. Notice where you shrink, where you over-explain, where you seek validation, or where you emotionally shut down. Because awareness changes everything. The goal is not perfection. The goal is becoming conscious enough to stop repeating patterns that hurt you. Healing begins the moment we stop asking, what is wrong with me? And start asking, what happened to me? And how can I care for myself differently now? Next week, join me for the next episode. Why do the same triggers keep showing up? Because we are going to explore how unresolved emotional experiences become automatic reactions, why certain situations activate us so intensely, and how to break the cycle of emotional triggering with awareness, nervous system regulation, and intentional rewiring. Thank you for joining me today on Mindshift with Geetanjali. If this episode spoke to you, share it with someone who needs to hear this message and subscribe for next week's episode. Every moment of awareness you create today builds the reality you live tomorrow. Keep rising, keep shifting, keep reframing, and keep becoming who you're meant to be. Rise, shift, reframe, become.